Hey, Space Watchers, and welcome back here from Paris, from the World Space Business Week. It's day number 1, and I do have the absolute honor to speak now with Pacôme Revillon, the CEO of NovaSpace. So, Pacôme, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, thank you. Excited to be on the first day of the event.
Absolutely, and it's just the first day. So, last year, many things happened. So, and one of them was that you merged a Euroconsult into a new company, NovaSpace. And now this year we see here a new location for the event. So, and it seems to be very well received from the first feeling. How do you see that?
Thank you. So we'll see how it goes during the week, but certainly we say that the industry is all about change and transformation. So I assume that we have to play our part. So about the NovaSpace, it's been clearly a year of integration, consolidation, and create extra and new value to our clients. As for the venue, we were looking for a new shrine, and I think it shall be a great spaceship for this year.
Okay, wonderful. And I like your analogy with the transformation of the industry. In your market overview that you just delivered a moment ago, you gave some trends, and one of these trends touched me very much, and that was about sovereignty. And I translated into European national sovereignty. And you pointed it as a primary driver for space investments. And you mentioned also that with over 50 countries developing their military space activities, how do you see the role of commercial players involved here, and especially the big ones that have multiple jurisdictions? How can that work?
Well, I mean, firstly, I would definitely concur, and it's pretty obvious that sovereignty and government decisions are absolutely key to the growth of the sector. I mean, government, from regulation to direct spending to acquiring services, has been an anchor tenant for many of the satellite capabilities, and this is to continue. And as I was mentioning, government spending might well reach $150 billion a year shortly. So that being said, indeed, each nation and international organization will need its own journey, capabilities to focus on, and forms of international cooperation. Quite some challenges indeed when you are a company and operating in multi-country. So you will have to find ways to leverage some of your R&D platforms possibly, but also very much be focused on what your local government clients require, and making sure otherwise you can contribute some bilateral, multilateral programs when it happens. For commercial space, I think it's where we see the value proposition really going from outsourcing some services or data delivery very much to delivering infrastructure when a nation wants to have full control on it. But as we see even in military exercise, I think even governments, because of the pace of innovation, are willing to leverage commercial to see how to work with industry to even optimize the use of the assets.
I mean, the regulatory framework, I think, will be very interesting to see following the initiatives from the European Union with the EU Space Act and things like that, which is something I'm quite sure you and your team are also following very, very closely at the moment.
No, we do. And obviously, I mean, space has always come together with regulation and how to operate in the space domain. So as always, it will be kind of a balancing act as what is the regulation, how you can also bring innovation to space, how quickly you can deliver new capabilities, and obviously what the space domain is about, from sustainable operations to how to react to maybe a contested domain and so forth. So it will be all a balance between regulation, reality, and the sovereignty to security issues.
Absolutely, and that's how I would see it as well. We're trying to put the regulation where our mouth is. We can talk about sustainability, but here you're forced into to do it.
Yeah, and I think regulation always there's two aspects for business. On the one side, you could consider whether it can slow down, impair, or enable innovation. But at the same time, it can also give clarity and kind of a framework, which can also give some security or confidence to some investors and the financial community. So there are always the dual aspects coming with it.
Absolutely. The other topic you highlighted were constellations. And I interpreted it for me as a bit of honeymoon is over with the constellation. So you used other words. You said the constellation area redefines the industry. But we all have to be very cautious that many of these as many of these constellations will stay on paper. So my question is then, what are the signals we should watch to distinguish viable constellations versus the speculative ones?
Well, first on the constellation era, I mean, if you look either at sovereign architecture or commercial, there's little doubt that dozens to hundreds to thousands of assets is the future, because you will want real time, you will want more capabilities and so forth. So that is the name of the game, but it's also CapEx intensive and a massive investment and operations to conduct, which obviously makes every single program extremely complex. And we are in a very competitive market. I mean, there's no question that SpaceX in the connectivity part has taken the place. They've just announced that agreement for spectrum, and when you see the value, you can see what they consider the game they play in terms of bringing direct to device. You have Amazon Kuiper programs and some others, including from China. So the question will be, can I go for a program? Can I differentiate enough so that I find my place in this landscape? And otherwise, do I serve some sovereign requirement of my domestic country or a set of stakeholders that, again, make it a viable long-term value proposition? All those conditions come together. But as much, I mean, more and more space is about entire end-to-end capabilities, not just the satellite. Is the satellite, is the ground segment, the terminal, the consumer electronics, and the entire chain that you will have to address to make it a successful program.
Are there other trends that you covered you would like to mention, which are close to your heart? What do you think?
Well, as it's World Space Business Week, I mean, it's difficult not to mention about a number of those transactions and fundraising. I mean, to see, and there are challenges that can come with it, to see IPOs coming close to $1 billion, fundraising, I mean, there was quite of a slowdown after the pandemic period and so forth, but coming back quite strongly with selected companies. So, and certainly think transactions, spectrum, assets, complete company acquisition. I think this is also a sign of the transformation of the ecosystem. But as you mentioned earlier, although the sector reaching a maturity level, think commercial success or challenges, and see how we reconfigure the industry to both create value for the shareholders, but also to address the national requirements.
Pacôme, thank you very much for your time. It's always a great pleasure to hear your insights. I wish you good luck for the remaining days. I mean, the big and some very busy days are about to come. I mean, the program is fantastic, absolute. And looking forward to it.
And thanks a lot, Thorsten, and thanks for being again part of the World Space Business Week with you. You're also part of its success. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. With that, Space Watch out.